Most AI teams obsess over architectures, benchmarks, and compute budgets. But the projects that quietly die, the ones that ship and get sunsetted 6 months later, almost never fail because of a bad model. They fail because the team built the right thing for the wrong problem and didn't realize it until it was far too late. Technical debt is something engineers talk about constantly. Messy code, outdated dependencies, shortcuts that need revisiting. But assumption debt is far more dangerous because it's invisible. Every architectural decision, every data pipeline, every evaluation metric gets stacked on top of a foundational belief about what the user wants. When that belief is wrong, the entire structure above it is compromised, and it looks completely fine from the outside. Recommendation systems are the textbook example of this trap. Click-through rate is clean, measurable, and optimizable, so teams optimize it. But what users actually experience is whether they feel their time was well spent after closing the app. Those two objectives can point in completely opposite directions. You can build a world-class recommendation engine that makes people feel hollow and manipulated, and your dashboard will show nothing but green metrics the entire time. Document assistants and enterprise AI tools fall into this trap constantly. Teams benchmark answer accuracy because that's what academic literature measures. But in real workflows, knowing when a model doesn't know is often more valuable than the answer itself. A system that scores 94% on accuracy benchmarks but never expresses uncertainty will confidently hallucinate facts in the 6% of cases, often the most critical edge cases. And users have no way to know when to trust it. One of the most powerful pre-modeling exercises you can do costs nothing and takes 30 minutes. Write down exactly what a user would be doing differently if your system is working versus failing. Not in metric terms, but in plain human behavioral terms. Would they stop rechecking information manually? Would they stay in the app longer without feeling guilty about it? If you struggle to complete this exercise, that struggle is diagnostic. It means your team hasn't yet reached consensus on what success actually looks like. There's a powerful momentum in AI teams toward action. Collect data, define a loss function, start training. It feels like progress. But the alignment between what you're measuring and what users actually need is almost never explicitly verified. It's assumed. And that assumption is load-bearing. The entire edifice of your engineering effort rests on it. Slowing down to interrogate that assumption before touching a single line of model code is one of the highest leverage investments a team can make. When assumption debt surfaces late, the fix isn't primarily a technical challenge. The code can be changed. The real obstacle is that the entire team has emotionally and cognitively anchored to a particular definition of success. Changing direction means admitting that months of work were pointed the wrong way, which triggers organizational resistance, blame dynamics, and narrative protection. The longer assumptions go unaudited, the more people's identities become entangled with them, making course correction a leadership and culture problem as much as an engineering one. Assumption audits aren't a one-time event at project kickoff. They're a recurring discipline that pays compounding returns. Before modeling, they prevent you from building in the wrong direction entirely. Mid-project, they surface drift between original intent and current implementation. Post-launch, they distinguish between a system that performs well on paper and one that genuinely improves people's lives. The teams that build lasting AI products treat assumption validation not as a phase, but as a habit woven into every stage of their development process.